Okay, so one curious rite, that's also an attraction rite, manipulates urine to attract a woman, suggesting resonances with scent and musk. I need to think about urine more in these rituals. So a version of the person, or a simulacrum, is deposited in a latrine. This is your target, a place redolent with demons with potential for possession. In Indian literature, people are often possessed when going to urinate. All right, so you bury a version of the person in a latrine, and then the practitioner continually urinates there. He shall attract that woman who is a target, even if she is a vast distance away. And finally, this is our last big magic rite for this lecture. Then we're going to go briefly into the other two categories. Murder. So, murder, or marana, these rites kill, slay, or destroy, and they don't have a lot of nuance. Marana is described from the root mari, meaning to kill or to slay, and it is the Indo-European cognate to the English word murder, because remember, Sanskrit and English are a part of the same language family, the Indo-European language family. So there's no kind of noble interpretation of this. So somebody, and Buddhists do this, like, oh, the only time you should use murder is if you're trying to kill someone that's going to hurt the Dharma, or you kill someone before they kill themselves, or you kill someone before they commit this like great sin that will cause them to go to hell realms for all eternity. That's not found in these texts. These are just to kill people. There's no good interpretation of this. The only time there's anything that's even talked about with ethics, we saw it before with uchatana, eradication, and radha, or murder, vadha is slaying, is that you do this, you kill someone, so you take their life, you take their wife, you take their money, you take their children. That's what you do. These are murder rituals. They're there to kill. There's been prior interpretations that are really torturous that call this like liquidation, but no, this murder, killing. These are murder rites. They're stark, they're diabolical, they have a really ugly look to them, in fact. We do have this statement. This is out of the Sanskrit. It says, murder should not be performed frivolously against anybody at any time. This dangerous ritual that ends life should be done out of the desire for wealth and prosperity. Should a fool perform the rituals in this mantra and tantra, he will himself be assailed. For the sake of self-preservation, murderous sorcery should never be performed. Only a holy man, having broadly discerned the rituals in the situation, should ever perform murder sorcery. Otherwise, sin is incurred. Should one perform murder sorcery, it should be done in the following manner. So like so many Sanskrit texts, like, don't ever do this, but here's how you do it. And you see this in a lot of really aggressive magic rituals. You'll see at the beginning of them, worldwide in many cultures, you'll see it starts with, don't ever do this, here's how you do this. Such is life. So murder rituals, these have gods that are kind of scary. So, you know, gods like Chandali over here on the top, and then we have Kali, and then we have on the right, we have Bhairava, who is a very popular god, often associated with wrathful Shiva. He's also called the god of justice. He is the tutelary, he's a very prominent deity in Nepal. He's often worshipped as just a mask over a stone, as you see here. So who are we talking about here? Om, O fierce goddess, Chandalini, Chandalini, dweller in Kamakya, where that's an area where there are quite a few wrathful goddesses. Impassable forest goddess of Vanadurga, Kleem, Kleem, Ta, Swaha. This is inscribed on a birch sheaf using orpiment, that's bile, and saffron as yellow ink, tied around the sorcerer's neck on a Saturday or Tuesday. The amulet kills an enemy. Boom. So this is just make an amulet, wear it around your neck. It kills the one you want to have killed. Now, murder rituals are kind of intriguing because they are some of the longest rituals in any of these texts, but there's also the fewest rituals in any of these texts. So a lot of murder sections will only have like 6 rituals in them in a tantra, but all the rituals will be like 4 pages long and are really complicated. So let's look at one. Make a doll from the enemy's foot dust. Remember that footprint dust? Cremation ash, so ash from a body, and blood from one's middle finger. Cover the doll with black cloth and bind it with black thread. The image, so that entity, is laid upon a bed of kusha grass and then burned. Kusha grass is grass that's often used in Vedic sacrifice. One should perform 10,000 repetitions of the mantra before. Afterward, one should perform 108 mantras to consecrate 108 mung beans, endowing the seeds with the potency of this majestic mantra. Deposit all those beans into the middle of the forehead of the doll. Should he perform this endeavor, or yoga, see, yoga as a magic ritual, at midnight, he will even kill a victim equal to Indra, the highest of the gods. Should he deposit the doll at the edge of a cemetery, then after the passing of 1 month, the enemy will be dead. So this ritual, and the next one I'm going to read to you, is not just found in the Sanskrit sources, but both these two rituals I've seen observed in the ethnographic record, especially the work of Beni Gupta on folk rituals and religions of Rajasthan. She recorded these discussions of these rituals in the 1970s. So to some degree, these rituals are likely still performed. Though, because I'm more of a textualist than an anthropologist, I can't tell you more about it. Often when I think about this, I like to think of these little effigies as being like sort of like voodoo dolls, and voodoo dolls are also not found in Voodoo, the Afro-Caribbean religion, but they are found in our pop culture. So if I refer to voodoo dolls, I'm not talking about Voodoo, an actual religion, but I'm talking about sort of a pop culture figure. All right, so let's look at one more of these. Om, oh, glorious. And this is interesting because it connects the notion of blood and lifespan. I'll talk about that in a second. Om, oh, glorious, goddess of the drenched cloth, Adra Pateshwari. Oh, she was garbed in green and blue. Oh, dark one. Oh, salivator. Oh, fierce one, howler, skull bearer, flaming mouth, 7 tongues of flames, the 1,000-eyed one approach. So lots of those are wrathful goddess names and euphemisms for them. Approach so-and-so, I offer you an animal. Cut off the life of so-and-so. Approach, approach, you who steal away lives. Hum pat burbu, swaha pat. You that devours cloth soaked in blood. Cleave my enemies, cleave, drink the blood, drink, hum pat swaha. What's all this about cleaving and drinking blood? Well, let's see. So, mere mantra repetition of that mantra will kill an enemy after 1 month. Begin on the dark 8th of the fortnight, so the Indian calendar is divided into 2-week chunks that you can consider 14-day fortnights. Okay, he should perform mantra repetition with the name of the enemy inserted into the mantra. So the so-and-so should have your enemy. If your enemy's name is Bill Spanks-a-lot, then you put Bill Spanks-a-lot in their name. Okay, he would make a doll using the dust from the foot or the footprint of his enemy. Having made a tribute sacrifice or bali of a young goat, he gathers the blood and soaks clothing or cloth with that goat blood. You cover the effigy and wrap it tight with that bloody cloth. When the cloth has dried, then the enemy will be destroyed. The power of this great enemy, or of this great mantra, kills the enemy, should there be no doubt. So what's going on here? You create this image of your enemy, you wrap it with bloody cloth, and as the cloth dries, it shrinks up, just as that blood shrinks up, and dries, it's thought that as it becomes fully dry, that's also the drying up of the life force within the target of this ritual. It's called shushan, or desiccation. And the idea is that the goddess drinks up that blood, and at the same time, she drinks the bloody life force of the victim. So finally, under marana, we see destruction rites, or nashana. I just want to go over sort of quickly. These usually destroy a person's livelihood, and this is from a section of making consecrated stakes that sort of destroy someone's life. So during the first fortnight of Palgun, the sorcerer should take up an 8 finger-length stake made from buttery wood. Should he bury this in the fisherman's house, his fish will be destroyed, i.e. his fish will spoil, or he will not catch any fish. We realize it's actually because the water is heated up that he's keeping the fish in, and that causes the fish to rot. How do we know it's that? Well, the mantra says, Om, cook the water, swaha, and it's effective after 10,000 repetitions. So my guess is the live fish are being kept in water pots or live tanks. The water heats up, kills the fish, or the fish wouldn't have been fresh slaughtered. They're going to keep those alive as long as possible. Heck, they're half alive when they're in the markets when I'm in India.